Okay, so to begin the project, I just took my scarf and opened it up. Now I'm just going to grab my scissors here, and I'm going to roughly eyeball about 1.5 inches. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a rag wreath, so the more tattered it looks and uneven, the better it looks, in my opinion. So again, just roughly eyeballing about 1.5 inches. Then I'm just going to cut strips from the bottom all the way to the top, and I will do that all the way down the scarf until the scarf is completely cut up. Okay, so at this point I have one scarf cut up. Now I'm just going to take each strip, and then I'm going to fold that in half so that both halves are even lengths. And then just along the center, I'm going to take my scissors and then cut that in half, and I will do this to all the strips. Okay, so now I have all my strips cut in half, and this part here is going to be a little bit time consuming, but go ahead and put some music on or watch some YouTube videos or a movie, and before you know it, you will be done. So I just take my strip, and I'm starting at the very bottom of the outer ring of the heart wreath, and then I just put it around the metal, and then I tie it in a knot. And that's it. So as you can see, I've already started, and I will continue going around, working my way in, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I just finished tying the scarf on the outer rim of the heart. Now, what I wanted to show you was there's a couple options here. What I was planning to do was cut all the pieces once and then in half, as I explained. But what I think I'm going to do is, for the inside of the heart, I'm just going to cut the strip once and not cut it in half. And then instead of doing the middle metal heart, I'm just going to go to the very inside heart and then tie it from there. This way the strand or the piece of the scarf is longer, and it will cover the middle as well as a little bit of the bottom. And I think that that will work out great. In doing the outer rim of the heart, I've used a little over one scarf, so I have started my second scarf. So I think it'll just be quicker to do it this way, and you're still gonna get a really nice rag heart wreath. Now, doing it the other way would be really pretty as well, because you would get a much fuller, puffier heart. But this way it kind of just falls down, but I think that that works really great with the rag wreaths. So now, in continuing to cut my scarf, I will just be cutting the one piece, so about 1.5 inches again, and then just cutting it once and then tying that onto the wreath. Okay, so my wreath is almost complete, my heart wreath. Now, I need to explain how I finish the top. If you are only putting your smaller pieces on the outside, as I've done, and then my longer strips on the inside. If you cut all your strips in half and then you fill in your heart form that way, then you wouldn't have to worry about this part. But because, again, I have used the long strips for the inner part, then you would need to complete the wreath in this way. So 2 scarves brought me to about here. So I had about a third, maybe a little less than a third of the heart that needed to be filled. So I have now started cutting my 3rd scarf. And the strips that I use to complete the rest of this, I will fill it in, and then whatever I have left over from my scarf I will use as a bow for the very top of this completed wreath. Now what I did was I took my long strip and I was tying them to this inner heart of the wreath ring, but I'm not going to continue tying them there. I'm actually going to go to the very top where I tied all my smaller pieces. I'm going to spread the sections or the pieces of scarf apart so that I have the metal exposed, and then I'm going to take my long strip and I'm just going to tie that, make a knot, and then let that hang. And the reason I've done this, there's 2 reasons. One is because if I had tied it to this inner heart ring here, metal piece, then my sections, because they're long, they would have gone too low. Now I could have went ahead and trimmed that up, but then the only problem is that you would have had this middle heart here, the wire of the wreath would have been exposed, because again you would have been tying it from here and it would have hung, and then you wouldn't have had anything covering this part. So tying it at the top covers this middle section, and it also makes it higher so that you still have an opening in the middle of your wreath. Now if you want, after, you can go ahead and trim that with your scissors to shape it up a little bit better if you want, but I think that this way, if you're using the smaller pieces and the larger pieces, ends up working really great. So I'm just going to take my last few pieces, fill in this section, and then we'll move on to the next step. I hope that made sense. I will be working on my wooden sign that I will be attaching to my wreath, and I purchased this at the Dollar Tree. They just came out with some awesome wood designs, and this was one of them that I purchased. It looks like a piece of ribbon, and what I will be using to paint this is the acrylic paint from the Dollar Tree. I have burnt umber, white, and black. Okay, so I have finished painting my sign. It is dried now. I just went over the whole sign with the burnt umber. Then I took my paintbrush, I added some white to it, and then I took off all the excess paint until it was very dry on the brush, and then I lightly went over the burnt umber. Now next I want to add a saying to my sign. So I just went into my photo editor, I typed in what I wanted, love lives here, and I put the font that I wanted, and this is going to work out perfectly for this sign. I printed it out, and then I just took my pencil and I shaded over the back where the letters are. Then I will place this on my sign where I want it, just tape it down, and then I will trace each letter until the carbon from the letter transfers from the paper to the sign. Once that is on there, I will take my black acrylic paint, again these are all from the Dollar Tree, and then I will fill in the lettering. You could also use a Sharpie marker for that. All right, everyone, so I thought before I moved on any further, I would just show you what the rag wreath looks like displayed, just with the scarves. And I think it looks absolutely beautiful. If you would like to try this and you would like to stop at this point, it looks beautiful just as it is, and so inexpensive to make. Again, I used 2.5 scarves and 1 metal heart form wreath. And for very little, you get this beautiful farmhouse look. Okay, so now that my sign is complete, all I have left to do is attach it to the rag wreath. And to do that, all I did was I took some jute twine and I made 2 jute twine braided ropes. So to make this, you're going to cut 3 even lengths of jute twine. You tie a knot at the top, braid the jute twine, and then tie a knot at the bottom. So then I'll just turn my sign over, and I will place the jute twine at the bottom, 1 on each end of the sign. Just like that. Then, with the bottom of the jute twine here, I will tie it onto the back of the rag wreath. So I will go to that middle wire right here, and I'll tie 1 on each side so that it hangs evenly. After I've done that, the only thing I have left to do is take that half piece of my 3rd scarf, and I just tied a simple bow. So I just do like the bunny ear style tying of a bow, and just make a simple bow. And then on the wooden sign, there already is a plastic hanger attached to the sign. This is what they use to hang the signs in the store, but it's on there really good. And the wreath is very lightweight, so it works great for hanging this wreath. Then I'll just add a little bit of hot glue to the middle of the back of the bow, and then I'll just glue that on top of that plastic hanger. So once I put all this together, I will place it on my door and I will show you what it looks like put together. All right, everyone, so here is my Dollar Tree farmhouse rag wreath, and I am so happy with how this has turned out. It is absolutely adorable, and I definitely am going to love displaying this in my home. I wish the lighting was a little bit better so that you could see the color. The pink is just so beautiful and so bright, and great for spring or summer, anytime really. Whenever I do a lot of decor, I really like to keep it so that you could either change it up for every season or keep it in a way that you can still use it for every season, even if you just leave it as it is. and I'm really pleased with this one. Again, it was so inexpensive, and to get this farmhouse look for the amount of money that I spent is just an amazing deal. So that will do it. Oh, actually, one more thing. I wanted to give you a little tip as well. If you do end up coming across these wooden signs here, then what I like to do is I normally just trace them on a cardboard and then keep them tucked away. This way I always have a template in case I don't come across these signs again. And then if you ever want to use them in another DIY project, whether it be with cardboard or ready board or even with wood, then at least you have the template and you can use it for other projects as well. So I just wanted to share that with you because I do that myself, and they really do come in handy. So that'll do it for this DIY. I really hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And as always, guys, you take care of yourselves, and I hope to catch you in my next video. Bye-bye.